Yo, I'm gonna make some pike trace as well. I'm in rehab, recovering from my operation. What you see? The ankle stitch there. I've got a stick all round my side there, so if you're watching from work, I'm not cheating. Right, pike trace. I've got this £34 super trace wire, which is quite good stuff. I've used it for a while now. All I do is roughly, I've got a little table here, I just measure width of the table. It's about, I think it's about 14 centimetre or inch, I'm not sure. About a foot and a bit. Snip that off. Keep your trace wire, keep your points sharp, don't let them fray. If they're fray, they're not very good. Then I've got some size 6 semi-barbed hooks, treble hooks. That semi-barb means it's just one of the hooks, what goes into the bait, has got a barb on it. I put as crimp over the top of the first wire. Eventually. You're getting old when you need your readers though. The work ones and all. Then you put your first treble hook over and then push your line, your trace wire back into that crimp so it sticks out a little bit. Like that. And push that one up. Oh wait at the top. Crimping tools, essential. Right, squish that crimp down nice and tight. And you take your swivel cover. These are a bit long, so I trim them off slightly. Trim it off slightly so it's not quite as long. All that's doing is keeping it all neat and tidy. So then you slide that down over the top of that, see it? Over the top of that treble. And then I just push it over the top. If it don't go over, just wet it a bit, but it should go over alright. And it goes nice and tight. And that's your first treble hook attached. Simple. Then your top one. It's a brew. Right, then take another treble hook, exactly the same as the other one. Slide that down. I generally do it about a finger's width from bottom hook. You can have them just with a swivel cover over the top of that now, so that hook then is adjustable. So if you want to fish a massive bait like that, you can do, but I don't. I never fish massive bait, so I fix that bottom hook. This wire from top goes down over the hook, underneath the hook, and keeping it all nice and tight, just wrap it round 3 or 4 times, and then back through your eye of your hook, keeping that bit at bottom tight. It might get a bit messy, but it don't matter. And pull it up nice and tight, and that's your keeping it tight, because you don't want it to create, and that's your bottom hook on. I'll take another one of these swivel covers, taking a little bit off of them because they're a bit big. These are, well, I'll go through everything in a minute. And you slide that one down over the top of that treble, and then just push it down over that line. Oh, sorry, not line, trace wire. And then that keeps that all nice and neat and tidy. Not everybody uses these, but I do because it keeps it tidy. And you've got your bottom one, and then you've got your top one, all neat and tidy. So when it's in your bait, you ain't got no wire or anything like that. Perfect. And I get a swivel, These swivels I use are big eye swivels, they're called. So at top you've got a big eye, and bottom you've got a little one. You need another one of these swivel covers when they come out. Trim that off because they're a bit long. Then you want a crimp, and push your crimp onto the top of your trace like that. Hang on a minute. Take that now. You put your cover on first. So your cover slides down. Just let that go down. And then you put your crimp over, and then your big eye wants to be at bottom, so you put your little eye over the top of that. Then you put your line, keep calling it line, trace wire back through that crimp, just so it sticks out a couple of mil, like so. I can see that. And you just push that up. Just so it's nice and snug at top. Crimping tools. Crimp down once more. And you get your swivel cover. Dogs underneath them, I'm dropping them down there. It's not essential this one, but I always do it. And push that one over the top of that swivel. Then you've got your swivel, your trace. With a big eye swivel, 2 size 6 semi-bar ducks, and a 34-pound supple trace wire. And you can get your rig bin. Very funny, James. And then this big eye, what we were telling you about earlier, this big eye fits nicely over the top of them pegs on your. Otherwise they don't fit over and then they all fall off and they end up being all over the place. So then you wind it on. Wind the bobbin up. The bobbin up. Then hook them in. Put the trebles in. Put that back in. And that just chucks it bottom of my bag. No problem. What I've used there, everything you'll need. A pair of crimping tools. Some crimps. I've just bought these new ones, shotgun crimps. You can see that. And they're the big eye swivels what I use. Trace wire I've been using is the Esox 34-pound supple trace. I've used, well, it's all gone now actually. All gone. I've used all that, it's been good stuff like that. And I generally use size 4 trebles, but I've used 6s because they didn't have none in shop. Pulling tool, it's not essential, but you don't want to get trebles in your hand, so you can get a good pull without getting your head hooked. And swivel covers, which they're good, but you need to chop a little bit off the top of them because they'll get a bit long, so they're a bit too big. But yeah, that's it. Simple. Rock on. Tight lines.